Question 4. So it is a common misconception that the sun is closer in summer than in winter. This is not a cause of the seasons. So what is the cause of the seasons? The Earth experiences seasons because the Earth's axis is tilted relative to its orbit around the sun. This causes changes to the heating of the Earth as it orbits around the sun. It comes down to two things: hours of daylight and the angle of the sun above the horizon. Let's look at hours of daylight first. Clearly, the more time the sun is above the horizon, the more heating that we will experience. In the Class Action app, select Animations at the bottom, then choose Daylight Hours Explorer. Set the latitude to 44 degrees north. So we'll change this to 44. And set the date to June 1st. Let's see if we can set this to June 1st. How many hours of daylight will we get on that date? Right over here it tells you. Okay. In the same simulator, what is the number of hours of daylight for Rochester, Minnesota on June 21st? Well, let's change this to June 21st, and you can see the number over here. Using the same simulator, what is the number of hours of daylight for Rochester, Minnesota on September 22nd? September 22nd, and you can see the hours of daylight over here. And what about on December 22nd? So on December 22nd, we see the hours of daylight over here. Now let's try the southern hemisphere. Let's set the latitude to minus 37, 37 south. And we'll just 37. And for January 4th, how many hours of daylight are there? So let's look on the 4th, and we can see the hours of daylight over here. How about closer to the poles? Set the latitude to 70 degrees. Let's just change it right here, 70. For January 4th, same date, how many hours of sunlight are there? You can see it right over here. Let's play around with that simulator some more, then match the region of the Earth to the correct statement about the length of daylight. What about the South Pole? Well, you can see the graph here. The southern hemisphere between 23.5 and 66.5 degrees. So let's go between 23.5 and 66.5. So somewhere in here. And you can see how the daylight changes over the course of a year. At the equator, 0 in there. You can see how it changes. North of the Arctic Circle, 66.5 degrees. So if we change this to about 70 degrees, you can see what the number of hours of daylight is over the course of a year there. And in the northern hemisphere, between 23.5 and 66.5 degrees. So let's put it somewhere in here. And you can see how that changes. So that's the Daylight Hours Explorer. Great fun. Hopefully you got it to work. Otherwise, glad you watched this video.